So, Strick, I know that we've talked about this before, but it's so important for you to understand the importance of actually being able to speak properly in order to build your business. And I wasn't talking about you don't know how to speak, but I just mean there are so many people that are out there that just need to be able to speak better in order to pull in more business to their company. You don't have to be a professional speaker to do this. You just need to be somebody that wants more clients, better paying clients. You want to build your business, increase your profit and your income. You got to get to this boot camp. What's the name of the boot camp?
I was getting ready to be offended by what you just said, but Doug, you dug yourself out very nicely. It's the Ignite Your Speaking Power Bootcamp, January 9th through the 11th in Irvine, California. If you weren't planning on being there before, you need to plan on being there. And what's great about this bootcamp is it's not just for people that want to get into public speaking, because Melody is going to teach you how you can magnetically attract new clients and influence buying decisions with celebrity status. Now, this is even if you are not a professional speaker, you can create this own status for yourself.
So command the attention you respect from any audience. Instantly become the authority and go-to expert in your industry. Develop and present a powerful and impactful presentation. Ignite Your Speaking Power Bootcamp. Melanie Keemer Harper. You can't miss this. This is a place that you need to be. Just get over to the website. Do we put a link in the show notes? Are there actually show notes for these commercials? How do we do this?
Oh, Doug, now you're making fun of our show, all right? Of course we have show notes. IgniteYourSpeakingPowerBootcamp.com. Again, that is the Ignite Your Speaking PowerBootcamp.com, January 9th through the 11th, 2020. That's like a couple weeks away.
Use the power of your newfound celebrity status through speaking to help influence buying decisions and truly help your clients decide that you are the best solution for them. Melanie Keemer Harper's Ignite Your Speaking Power Bootcamp. Reserve your seat today.
Oh, what'd you get me for Christmas? That's right. More fuckery from the nice guys.
I don't know if I was clinically diagnosed.
Wow. When you're at a job interview and they ask the question, have you ever been convicted of a crime? The answer is not, convicted?
Never convicted of a felony. Yet. But they keep on trying. It's the nice guys on business. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
So there's this thing in Austin, because, I'm in Austin now. I've been here for a year. And I didn't have a problem with this last year.
Have you really been there a year already?
Yeah, fucking like a year and a week now. It's crazy, right?
That is a long time. I can't believe I've been actually in LA for since June of last year. So that would be, it's a year and a half. So it's the same idea. Dude, it's like, well, I know. Time flies when you're 107 years old.
So there's this thing out here, and I didn't experience it last year. It's called cedar fever, like cedar trees, right?
All right.
And apparently it's like an allergy type of thing, but it comes in like December, right? Cat, stop it. God damn it. So, okay. So
you'll edit that out, right?
I move. Yeah, right. Of course. No, I'm not going to fucking edit that out. Hey, by the way, welcome back. My name's Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. So
hey.
I've moved my office downstairs to the bigger office. And the thing is, it's a bit more open. It's like a little louder, a little liver, right?
Yeah.
So I have these panels. I have these sound dampening panels. And so when I do the show, I like open them up so the room doesn't sound as live when I'm doing the show. Right. But they're really big. So when I'm not doing it, I close them because it's like, I feel like I'm all closed in and can't see anything when they're up, but it's all good. So, but the thing is, they're like this soft foam. As soon as I open up, my cat, Cookie, like the one cat, she fucking claws at every, I'm like, and then she gets foam in her claws and shit. I'm like, I gotta, God damn it. Anyway.
Life as a podcaster in a mobile studio, that's what it comes down to. It just can't get any more challenging to us than that. If that's the worst that we have as challenges, whether Cookie is wrecking your soundproofing, I think we're doing pretty good.
It's not that big a deal. Exactly. So you may have noticed, my voice is a little rough. I mean, a little rougher than normal.
You're about to tell me that you're suffering from cedar fever?
Cedar fever, apparently. It's apparently an allergy thing that happens here in Austin, but it happens in like December, right? Like I used to have allergies as a kid in Maryland, but it was like spring and fall and pollen and all that shit, right? And I haven't had any problem with them in years and years and years. But like the last 3 or 4 days, it's like that. Like I can barely fucking talk. I'm drinking water by the gallon and it's still just like, like I'm just hacking up a fucking lung.
So you
like,
get home
sick,
and you chase it with Fireball.
Yeah, of course. Come on. We gotta make the show good. You know, I mean,
hey,
it's always better.
Just one key, just keep in mind that you probably, if you haven't done it already, you're going to need to take that life insurance exam. Have you taken that yet?
Oh yeah, shit! I got a call about that. Yeah, you want to make sure I do that sooner rather than later in case the cedar fever takes me, huh?
Well, not that so much as they're going to continue asking you. Yeah, is that cough something that you've had for a while, Mr. Bonner?
Right. I know. I was going to call him today, and I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't call him. I go, I'm fine. No, I'm perfectly healthy. I swear. I promise.
So I'm going to share a couple pieces of business advice for those that are in our community that are now tuning into our new Friday episodes with Strickland and I doing our thing. So you have a legitimate business when your financial advisor encourages you to get a buy-sell policy for your business. Dude, that's a lot of money, not to spend, a lot of money if you really got mad at me, you could have somebody bump me off and still at least get a few $100,000 of that money. Because how much doesn't it cost a few $100,000 to have somebody bumped off?
I have no idea. I've never priced it out. I've never shopped that. Yeah.
Well,
can I just do that on the internet? I can do a search for that, like Hitmen cheap or something.
Well, be careful though, because they have a Christmas deal this year going on at Costco for that, and you want to make sure if you do the Hitman special that you at least get the what's it called, the business card or the business executive select with Costco.
Damn. I just Googled dirty deeds done dirt cheap, right?
Oh yeah, AC/DC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you. And wait, is that the dirty deeds done dirt cheap? As in, is that the lingo for hitman?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Dirty deeds. Yeah,
I didn't.
The whole song is about that. That's all they talk about.
I didn't know what
every verse. Yeah, every verse is all about paying somebody to kill somebody.
So explain to me this, because there might be somebody in our community that could benefit from this type of lesson here. What is the purpose exactly of buy-sell insurance? Is it just life insurance on the partner so that on each of the partners, in case something happens to the other gets bought out, or that way I can
that's my understanding. Yeah,
pay a salary to somebody that would replace you, like I could ever replace you?
Right. Like you could never replace me, right, Doug? It couldn't happen yet, but I could never replace you either. So, but yeah, that's what it is.
Well, see, I feel like I'm a lot easier replaced than you are, because all I do is sell and build relationships. Anybody can do that.
Not everybody can do it the way you do it.
Oh, I do. I understand now. That's very kind of you to say that. So this buy-sell insurance, I spent about a half an hour on the phone with Darren. Very nice guy, very nice gentleman.
Yeah. About the insurance.
Yeah, basically, if it was an operating room table, I would have basically been cut open, split in half, and all of my secrets divulged. It's really interesting how much information they can get out of you just by asking some simple yes/no questions, which is why I'm assuming like CIA interrogators do a really good job with the lie detector, because I don't think you can give like full story answers to the lie detector. I think they are like yes or no kind of answers.
Yes, no, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
well, thank you for pointing that out, because I need to do mine too. So now I'm prepped for it mentally.
You might want to be ready. You might want to catch it at your best time, because they start asking you questions just about your family history. And although you always want to share the truth with whoever is going to be asking questions, especially when it comes to things that you could be perjuring yourself for, if ever it comes to that, you have to really give thought to the answers. Like, okay, so let me give you a typical question that they ask on the exam. So I'm going to ask the question, and then you tell me what the answer was. Now, it's going to be hard because both of your parents are living, correct? Your parents are both living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, do you have a relative that has passed away?
Yes.
Okay. Can you put that person in your head? Who is that person?
My grandmother.
Okay, so your grandmother died. Okay, so Strickland, what did your grandmother die from?
Old age,
Okay,
I
all
believe,
right.
as far as I know.
Oh, well, shit.
Okay.
Let me say it from my perspective then. They ask,
Yeah,
so
okay.
Darren asked me, are my parents still living? And I said, well, my mom is living,
Yeah.
but my dad passed about 20 years ago. Oh, he must have been a young man. What did he die from? And I said, and then I had to think about it, and not think about it because
Right.
I know what they told me he died from. And when I say they, I mean not my stepmother, his wife. I know what she told me, but I don't know if that's the truth. So now I'm about to give an answer that is not maybe. I never had medical records in front of me. Everybody thought my dad died from some kidney complication, but everybody was telling me that my dad died from cancer. So I'm thinking, what's the correct answer? But more importantly, what's the answer that I should be giving to the medical examiner person? And I thought, well, okay, so this is what I said. I said, what I was told was he died from cancer, but I don't know that to be a fact. And then he says something like, well, why don't you know that to be a fact? And then I have to get into my entire family history. And then he asked, has anyone else in your family died from that? And I'm like, well, so he said, do you have siblings? I said, yes, I have a brother. Is he living? No, he's not. Well, what did he die from? And then I'm thinking, oh man, well, he kind of died from heart disease, but he didn't really die from heart. So now I'm explaining like, my brother died because of complications from radiation therapy when he was a young adult. And I'm like, now I'm like 2 elbows deep in shit right now. And I have no idea. I'm like, oh my God, did I just say something wrong? So I said, Darren, how critical are these answers? Because I don't really know. I think my brother did. I'm like, I don't know. Nobody tells me the truth about anything. Have you ever suffered from anxiety, Mr. Sandler? Yes, I have. right now. So, have you ever been clinically diagnosed with depression or anxiety? And I said, what does clinically mean? Can you define clinically? Because I did have a few panic attacks in my life in 2015, and I said, well, I don't know if I was clinically diagnosed. And I found like I was going to.
That's like when you're at a job interview
right.
And they ask the question, have you ever been convicted of a crime? The answer is not convicted. No, you don't want to answer like that. The answer is no.
I didn't know. So I'm thinking back, okay, now hold on a second. I did go to a cognitive behavioral therapist for a handful of sessions because I wanted to get this in check before it got out of control. I didn't want there to be any medication or institutional and nothing like that in my life. And I wasn't even close to any of that. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, what does he have in front of him? Does he have some record? Is he trying to catch me in a lie? Where's he going?
So, Mr. Sandler, it sounds like what you're saying is that you may have clinical depression and clinical anxiety, but you refuse to take medication for it. Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Sandler?
And that's what he said. He said, have you ever been prescribed or have you ever taken illegal prescription medications to right? So it's like so many things. Well, I did borrow that Zoloft from my brother once. I'm like, wait a minute. Have you ever used narcotics? Well, geez, there was that one time when Michael Neely gave me those edibles. And I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know what to do.
Oh, my God.
So the whole...
And you just implicated Michael Neely. Very nice.
Michael knows that.
Very nice.
Michael knows I love him.
Oh, you live in California. It's okay. It's all
here. And then
legal
I'm thinking, hold on a second. What's it called? CBD and THC and marijuana are legal in California. Now, even if I say yes to that, now I've never smoked. I mean, I've never smoked cigarettes. It's like every answer that I'm giving, I'm like, oh my God, Darren. He said, well, Mr. Sandler, see, the policy premium was going to be $100 a year. Now it's $20,000 a year. Thank you very much. I just see this big red stamp come down. Fail. Like shit. Declined. Sorry, Strick, you're on your own, buddy.
Like 5 minutes ago, I was getting kind of nervous about this interview. Now I'm feeling much, much better about it.
Because I can't.
Because everything Well, everything that you just mentioned that you have problems with, you know, do you have relatives who have died? Yeah, my grandmother. How old was she? Like 85. Okay. Do you have any siblings that have died? Nope. Have you ever been diagnosed with clinical depression? Nope. Anxiety? Nope. Do you do illegal drugs? Nope. Have you ever smoked? Nope. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bonner. You've passed. Okay, all good. I'm done.
Will literally be 3 minutes. I'm telling you. And I am the most clean-cut, healthiest guy I know. But why did I get myself all? I got my panties all wrapped in a bunch. I'm telling you, it was horrible. By the time I was done, I could not have passed any kind of lie detector test. I was completely wrecked. I went downstairs and said to JJ, I just put my hands in my head in my hands, and I just said, "Oh my God, what just happened? What just happened? What the fuck just happened?" I was just tripped up by one question. Then it was like a fucking snowball running downhill, out of control, towards small children and kittens. I didn't know what to do. Okay. God.
That's too funny.
All right. So
we have a couple of voicemails.
After we come back on the others.
Unless there's something else.
I do want to talk about the moniker that I gave myself on the whatever you call this, the Zencaster handle that I gave myself, which is Jack All Master None.
So listeners, if you are unfamiliar, on Zencaster, which is the platform where we record, you can give yourself a name, a moniker. And Doug, Jack Off, Master None? What does that mean?
I couldn't put Jack of all traits, Master of none, because it won't allow that many digits. So I had to use, I think 20, 30 characters or less. So I did Jack All, not Jack Off, Jack All, Master None. Because I do want to talk about this. I want to come back and I want to ask, we are now on the Nice Guys on Business. So aside from the buy-sell little piece of business advice I gave there at the beginning of the show and then went downhill, I want to talk about companies that try to be the jack of all trades but the master of none versus the companies that do things really well. So I'll come back after the voicemails and do that, because this will be it'll be kind of interesting. I think you'll have some good advice for us.
I totally will. In fact, I recently had an experience that I think will fit very nicely into this discussion. It's almost like we planned.
No, wait a minute. Are you going to talk about your NTB experience?
What? No, I discount tire experience.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Purchasing tires, but wrong company.
Right. All right. So let's play the voicemails and then we'll come
listen.
back. Okay.
Voicemails first, because we'll forget about them otherwise. Okay.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Strick. Jared here. So it's Friday, and I play the episode, so it's here. I'm so excited. And during the intro, Doug, you talk about having your man card, a little piece of it taken away because of a merge. Now, that's all the farther I've made it. I haven't even listened to the second, Steve O'Brien episode intro all the way. So I heard that and it started into the intro for, here's your host, Doug Sandler. Right. So first of all, if anything, Doug, your man card was taken away a long time ago. You maybe had your little boy card. Yes, that was
my little boy card was taken away.
Second of all, when are you changing the intro to the show now? Because guess what? My buddy Strickland is on the episodes now. Now you got to redo it and put Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner. So if you're going to come back together, you got to go all out, boys. Hey, I can't wait to hear the rest of the show.
It's literally 30 seconds in.
Probably will harass you again. Love it, guys. I will continue listening.
Literally, he's only...
So he makes a good point. We just changed the intro like 4 episodes ago to take my name off of it. After I haven't been doing interviews for 3 years, and now here I am back on Friday. Now we have a choice. We can either stick with the same new intro that just has your name, right? Or we could go back to the old Nice Guys on Business that has both of our names only for Fridays, or we could go with the fuckery intros, which we got to use for half a year. I'm open to whatever you
I don't want to do the fuckery episode, the intros, but I do want to stick with the new opens that we have. But we can add your name to it. You know how you kind of have, like, whenever you have an edit, you have those little carrots left and right, and you just insert your name. It'll be like Steve O'Brien will have his really deep voice, and then I'll just interrupt and say, "And Strickland," it's like that. And now here's your host, Doug Sandler, and Strickland Bonner.
You don't think it'd be easier just to go back to the original?
No, we can't go back to the old one because I don't want to have the open be, you can run a business without being simply by being nice. That's not really what our, because that's not what we do.
But it kind of,
I mean, no, we are nice. That is what we do, but that's not what we're sharing. Look, Strick, I'm going to let you be in charge. All right. You be in charge. You're in charge.
I guess I did put in the pre-intro yesterday. There is a great drop that I put from Steve O'Brien from the 1000th episode. I just loaded it up. I'm going to play it for you. This was part of Steve O'Brien's pre-intro last week, which was the first week that I was back on the Nice Guys on Business. Right, here we go.
I like it better without Strickland's name in there. I don't know what it is. It's just automatically a better show.
Wait. You should tag that on to the new.
I could just put that on every week. Yeah. The problem is, but it would be like there through the fade. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go back to the old intro for the Nice Guys on Business because I don't. Why don't we just get Steve-O loves us and we can afford to pay him to do one more drop for us, one more open, can't we? No, we can't do that.
Yeah, we can. We'll have to write up some new. No, we can. We have to write up some new copy.
What I love so much about Jared's voicemail was that I think what I'm hearing, and I think you alluded to it also, is the phone call came in, the voicemail came in right only after he listened to the opening of the show. Hasn't even gotten to any of the interview yet. I'm assuming, since I don't listen to the episodes anymore, I'm assuming that what you put in there was you pulled out me getting my MERS.
Yeah. The pre-intro, the teaser was about the
I gotta
MERS.
tell
Absolutely,
you, having this MERS, this is the fucking jam, man. Guys that are out there, it is okay if you have to give up your man card just when you go out of the house. Because I'll tell you, not having shit in my pockets and having the ability to, a couple of things I put in there, really good stuff. I have a pen in there, so now I always have access to a pen. I have hand cream. You know what? We went wine tasting this weekend. I know, two things, hand cream and wine tasting. I'm sure that.
Right. If you hadn't lost your man card before, it would have completely been revoked there.
We went wine tasting over the weekend, and Michael and JJ have a show called Something to Wine About. That is a podcast that they do. And so we go from, so I was being the documenter. So I was doing the photography and I was recording some of the video and doing some photos as they were doing some interviews with the heads of these wineries. So you can drink free when you're an industry person. So it's great. We probably saved at least $100 in tasting costs. So anyway.
And how much did you spend on wine that you brought home?
Personally, I probably only spent about $150. Michael and JJ had to spend a lot more than that, though. They spent a lot of money.
Only $150, and JJ spent more than that?
$150. I drink wine. Don't you drink liquor? Don't you drink? Don't you go out and supply? Don't you go to a liquor store and buy liquor and bring it home? When's the last time you bought? And have you never spent $150 on liquor?
Probably not in one shot.
But I don't go out to the liquor store and buy wine anymore. When we go up to Paso, which is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours north of us, I just save it for then, and I buy the exact wine that I want. So for me to buy. And I did get to buy, I don't buy expensive wine. So I think I bought 13 or 14 bottles of wine and it was $150. So I did. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not like I bought one bottle of wine for that. Anyway, so in my MERS, I put the pen, so I was able to do some writing, and I had some hand cream. So I put hand cream and I went to shake the lady's hand that was at the winery. And as soon as she shook my hand, she's like, "Your hands are so soft." I'm like, all right. Is that a good thing? Is it good for a guy to have soft hands, or do they think you have never worked a day in your life, have you, Sandler?
And once again, if the rule is 3 strikes and you're out to lose your man card, that would be the 3rd strike right there. When a woman says to you,
I don't think she was saying it in a derogatory manner. I'm pretty sure. And when JJ comes back, I will. She's out.
Doug, I'm quite sure she wasn't saying it in a derogatory manner. Okay. But when you're going out for drinks with your gay friend and he makes fun of you for having an umbrella in your drink. Okay. He's not saying it in a derogatory way either, but it still means you lose your man card.
I'll tell you something. Let me be secure with my manhood here. If me having a Merce, hand cream, a pen, soft hands, and wearing a little mascara every once in a while pulls my man card, so be it. No. And I'm going to see Adam Lambert on. Well, you already said last episode it's okay for me to go see Adam Lambert and not lose my man card.
I think I said that in a phone conversation we had. I don't know if I said it on the show, but personally, look, Adam Lambert. Okay, first of all, Adam Lambert toured with Queen. Yeah. Okay, so right there, he's okay in my book. All right, but even outside of that, okay, the guy's fucking talented. I'm sorry, I'd go see him. I would totally go see him.
Hold on a second, though. If having those things is a part of who I am, and I really think that I should feel free to be able to do whatever I want without feeling like I'm losing my man card. And you know what? I don't think I'm losing my man card. I think there's plenty of men that are out there, maybe none that are listening to the show right now. But I probably, hey, listen, if you are one of those guys that feels like having soft hands, a Merce, and ruby red slippers in your closet. Oh God, I got to take down my poster of Cher now. God damn it. Lord have mercy. Let me tell you something. I have no problem with my masculinity, and I have no problem being it.
Is that right next to your Sean Cassidy
I have
poster?
No problem. Fuck you.
Make me spit out my fireball.
Okay, so I am quite in touch with my masculinity. I am
Oh God.
Okay, thank you, Jared. Thank you for starting all of that. Okay, that all came from the first 12 seconds of our show because that's what Jared is commenting about. All right, let's move on to voicemail number 2. Is that Jared also?
I believe it is, yeah.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Jared here. So it's Friday, voicemail number 2. I'm already dropping a deuce on the new show at the new location. You're welcome. Hey, guys. I just finished. Awesome. Happy to have you back on here. And yes, Doug, I did resubscribe. So yes, I did unsubscribe because my favoriteest part is you and Strickland talking.
Understood.
Nice.
I'm not big on interviews, but hey, now I'll catch some of them, I'm sure. I also wanted to let you know that Jeffrey Gittimer has your address because he is like the hit man of sales. He has people everywhere. Anyways, guys, wanted to celebrate being back, the excitement, and also give a shout out to T-Mobile. Your service fucking sucks.
Jeez.
Sorry for the choppy ass voicemails last week.
Hey, we need to go back and.
What was for the dig on T-Mobile?
We go back and cancel our sponsorship with T-Mobile.
I got to tell you, I've got T-Mobile. I'm really happy with them.
He had really bad.
His phone was cutting out last time. Oh, okay. You know, for those of you that don't know, anybody who has heard the name Jeffrey Gittimer and anybody that is even sort of vaguely in sales, you have to know the fucking name.
I would agree.
Jeffrey Gittimer, right? His little black book of sales, the little gold book of sales, the little blue book of sales. He's a fucking legend. I mean, he has, I don't even know how many best-selling books. For those of you that don't know, Doug Sandler is personal fucking friends with Jeffrey Gittimer. Jeffrey invited him down to his complex in, where's it, North Carolina?
Charlotte,
Charlotte, North Carolina for like 4 or 5 days and shot. Dude, he's a fucking legend. And Doug, you are the fucking man.
Arrived in the mail just a couple of days ago was a autographed copy of his latest book. I think it's called Get Shit Done. And And I'm like, oh, I wish he would have signed it. I just hadn't turned enough pages into it. He signed it. Doug! ! Love Jeffrey or something like that.
Yeah, you did mention
so,
that last week.
I was excited to be able to get a signed copy of his book. Haven't really spent a lot of time with him over the last couple of years. Is he still going out with Jen Gluckow? Do you know?
They were engaged. They got engaged at the New Media Summit. Did they get married?
I wonder if they're married now. I don't know.
Oh shit!
I don't know that they're not married, but I don't know that they are. I would think that a 2-year engagement, that's a long engagement. At some point, somebody has got to call somebody out on that. Okay.
So for those of you who only have previously listened to the Monday and Wednesday shows, and you want to know, hey, how do I get to call in like Jared? Jared does not have the private number for Doug Sandler. You can call 4242 DJ Doug anytime, leave us a message. We won't even listen to it ahead of time. We're just going to play it on the air. So if you just want to call and leave like a big old ad for whatever your company is, feel free. We'll play it. We don't care. Free advertising. We love it. Please call in. And the Facebook group, if you're not familiar with that, go to niceshortcut.com. We'd be happy to let you into the Facebook group as long as you're not a heroin addict or a communist.
Very nice, Strickland. Very, very good. That was just like the recap commercial? Were those our only 2 voicemails that we had?
Well, yeah, because I know you don't talk about that shit on your interview show days.
You know, the other thing I really got to spend more time talking about on our Nice Guys on Business Monday, Wednesday shows, I really got to promote the Ultimate Podcast launch formula, because I know I promoted it on Turnkey, but we have a much smaller audience there because it's a much newer show. So should we give a little plug for that now, or is it too late?
No, go for it.
I thought you were going to help me.
Oh, you wanted me to help you? No, I'm on the Facebook group and I see that we have 3 new members this week. Write a post to welcome them. I'm trying to figure out who they are. Wendy Sherwin Swire, Elizabeth Taboada. Wow, that's a hell of a name, Elizabeth. Taboada, Amara Yeager.
Right, hold on.
Dude, how do I find these people?
I don't know.
I got to look them up now and make fun
of them. You're funny. Turnkey.
That's what we do when people.
All right, hold on a sec.
Before
we get on to making fun of people, let's just make sure that if you are not a member of the Nice Guys community, I don't know why you're not, but you need to be. And it's a really fun thing to be a member of the Nice Guys. It's at niceshortcut.com. As Strickland just said that. 3 new members. That's like a record for us. We wouldn't normally have that. You have 3 new members
and not only 3 new members, 3 women. Although Amara that's kind of an androgynous name. It could be a guy or girl. Wendy and Elizabeth, I'm guessing, are women. And Amara, I don't know. I want to kind of look them up now. I got to figure out who they are. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupt. I'm writing a little note to them on the Facebook group.
Wendy Sherwin Swire, Elizabeth Taboada, and Amara Yeager joined on Thursday from San Diego. Interesting. Well, here, I can look up everybody. So, okay, Amara. So let me look up Amara's.
Look up Amara first.
She is, let's see, home, lucky, static. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Looks like she's got 100.
So it is a woman?
Yeah, but I think she's a, I
don't want to embarrass her.
I think she's young. I think she's a young, I can't tell what.
Why is she listening to this show?
I don't know. Maybe she was looking for some key business advice. Maybe there are people that listen to the show for business advice. But I also thought, according to what my son had said, and my daughter confirmed this, I think that Facebook is like dead for kids. I don't think it's like I don't think they.
Oh, it totally is. Instagram is what it's all about.
The challenge with Instagram.
Kids don't listen to Facebook.
The challenge with Instagram is you can't really do much on it. You can't even like put links in the. I totally agree. I don't think there's as much freedom and flexibility with Instagram as there is with Facebook. But then again, I'm exactly the reason why people aren't part of Facebook. They don't want to be hanging out with a guy like me. All right, so
I couldn't agree with you more.
Thanks, Trick. All right, so let's see. So Amara, okay, she looks like she's young. I don't know why she would ever want to be participating in something that we would be providing. But let's look at somebody that might be a little bit more mature, like Elizabeth Taboada. Hold on a second. Let's take a look at Elizabeth. Elizabeth, funky photo. Elizabeth is lives in San Diego, California.
Cool picture though. She has a really interesting post that I want to read. It's a good post. Elizabeth, hope we're not embarrassing you too much, but her most recent post it's very interesting, and we try not to get too religious on here, but you know what? I'm going to throw it in here. Her most recent post is a quote from Philip Yancey. Jesus forgave a thief dangling on a cross, knowing full well the thief had converted out of plain fear. That thief would never study the Bible, never attend synagogue or church, and never make amends to those he had wronged. He simply said, Jesus, remember me. And Jesus promised, today you will be with me in paradise. It was another shocking reminder that grace does not depend on what we have done for God, but rather what God has done for us. Now, personally, I don't know that I'm a believer in like God in the sense of a guy looking down on us, but I'm a very strong believer in the power of the universe and the energy of the universe. And I believe that all of that can be good if you want it to be good, and it can be bad if you want it to be bad. And so I think that's a good.
Well
quote.
said. I like this.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I just the day that she has
kind of went
from
off the
December
rails
10th. All prayers get answered. Sometimes the answer is no.
Okay, that I like.
If you would have just, scrolled down her feed a little bit further, you would have found out that was one of her quotes of the day. I was somebody else's quote she was quoting, but it still was a great quote. All right, and let's look at the final. Wendy Sherwin Swire. She joined just 5 hours ago, so she is right here.
Damn, she is an
executive
new
coach, leadership consultant, mom to Sam and Maddie and T, chocolate and neuroscience addict. Very nice. Let's see. How do we know? Nice. Let's see. 2 mutual friends. She's a friend from back in DC, because it looks like the couple of people that I have in common with her are people are back in DC. Officially certified in polarity management with these beautiful and talented women in the beautiful mountains of Boulder, Colorado. I don't know what polarity management is. You? Yeah, somebody says idea. Interesting that
maybe she should call in.
Yeah, Wendy, if you would call in, that would be great. One of the first comments from one of her friends is, "Can you give me the elevator version of polarity management?" So let's see if a pair of values that seem to be opposed but actually are interdependent. They need each other to achieve a higher purpose. Let's see, here's another one. In a world where people are polarized between 2 extremes that divide us, polarity management is a tool which shows how there is more power to understanding both perspectives. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's the systems thinking model that applies to individuals, teams, organizations, and larger systems. So it's interesting. It's almost like it's important to have polarity.
It's symbiotic. Yeah. That's symbiotic. Yeah,
I think it's real important on a big team, especially if you're a big company and you have opposite ideas, completely polar opposite ideas. It actually is better for you than if you have everybody thinking the same way. It's just the idea of how do you manage the polarity within an organization rather than try to strike down the polarity and have everybody thinking the same way. Very interesting. That's why innovative organizations will actually excel with polarity management. Okay.
So she is a principal owner at Swire Solutions LLC. You can go check them out at swiresolutions.com. And Wendy, you can thank us later for the free plug. And then also she is an executive leadership coach at Capital One. That's a big fucking company.
Very cool. Hey, Wendy.
She must know what she's doing. And she lives in Bethesda.
Capital One would either like to give us cash back just for spending, that would be fine. Or if they would like to advertise or sponsor the Nice Guys on Business podcast, we promise in those episodes we won't drop the F-bomb anywhere near as much, because I don't think Capital One, what's in your wallet? Fuck if I know. Wait, is
dude, I've been using my Capital One card for ages. I have Capital One. I like them a lot, but it would be great to have them as a sponsor.
Is that the Capital One slogan? What's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet?
That is Capital One. Yeah. Okay.
It totally is. What's in your wallet?
Okay, let's
Capital One.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to bring this up before we wrap up this episode, because this is pretty interesting subject. So we can relate this somehow. I'll let you interpret this and how this gets into business, but you can tell your story about Discount Tire.
Discount tires.
So, in order to put these funnels together that I've made for Turnkey Podcast to create to use as a marketing tool, there's 3 companies. There's a company called ClickFunnels that's really good at funnel making, the app, an application where you can actually create the marketing campaign. There is Active Campaign, which is an email tool that will allow you to automate your process to send out emails for your funnel. And then there is there's Webinar Jam, and Webinar Jam is the webinar tool that I use to create the content for ClickFunnels to lead to, but Active Campaign to market through. So you have these three separate companies. Okay. And I was having a really interesting conversation when I was wine tasting with JJ and Michael this weekend. Actually, we got some business accomplished. You will not see one charge on the Turnkey Podcast card, just so you know. I just want to make that ultimately very clear. So we were having a conversation just about why isn't there one company that can do all of those things? With every funnel, you will have to have an email campaign. With every email campaign for a funnel, or with every webinar, you will need a funnel and an email campaign to kind of put those things together. And so I said, well, why isn't there a company that does all of those things? And Michael said to me, hey, look, Active Campaign or ClickFunnels actually does have an email program in it, and they can collect the money, and they don't have the webinar feature. So that's just a Webinar Jam thing. But then I was thinking about all of the companies that are out there that try to really go into it with the approach that, hey, we're going to go at this so that the one thing that we do, we're going to excel at it. But what happens when your market is so strong that they say, the ClickFunnels, let's say somebody calls Russell Brunson and says, the guy that created ClickFunnels, and says, hey, Russell, you really have got to have email as a part of your funnel program, or you really should have, a lot of people are doing webinars to go through your funnel. So you really should have a webinar platform also. And so some of these companies, by demand from their market, they've created these other products, these other services these other modules of their software, but they're nowhere near as good as ClickFunnels doesn't do anywhere near as good a job with email campaigns as Active Campaign does, and Active Campaign doesn't do as good a job of collecting the money as ClickFunnels does. But they all have the ability to do all of those things. So what happens when your market actually demands that you provide a product that will you just shut them down and just say, look, this just isn't what we do? So what are you supposed to do?
Oh, excuse me, Mike.
You're right.
Getting me there. I got to drink some more. I think it really all depends on what is your ability to do it well, right? So let's say hypothetically that you got ClickFunnels and there's the demand for the email
active
functionality,
campaign, right? Exactly.
Okay, so let's say that at the low end of the email capability, it's like, what's the range, right? Let's, again, hypothetically, Active Campaign, let's say, is the best email program out there, right? Well, how close could ClickFunnels get? Like, if they were to create a module for this, how close could they get?
Well, they're going
to
get close enough for a guy like me who is just in the entry level stages of understanding what funnel building is all about. So the emails that ClickFunnels provides are probably good enough for where I am in the process. But when I start to need extra automation and extra tools and extra integration with other programs that are out there and integration with CRMs and lists and all that stuff, then you really do have to, you need a company that specializes.
Well, I think that's it. It depends on what level you want to get into, because there are many different levels available, and some people just want the basics because they're putting so much time and energy and resources into ClickFunnels that they don't have any time to put that much more energy into the emails. They need a basic email program. But people that have a whole team and want to put full energy into both, then they got to do both.
I mean, I don't know that there's an answer to this, but it is a very interesting thing. When we look at it, we said, hey, with Turnkey, one of the things that we really wanted to specialize in was a done for you service. And then we get so many people that, not that they were demanding it from us, but we had so many people that said to us, hey, we really don't want to spend the bigger dollars that a concierge service like Turnkey can provide. So as a result of that, we created this other program, this Ultimate Podcast Launch Formula, that's more of a DIY type of thing. So But then we have to look at it and say, I really didn't realize this when I was building the program, but it's so much more than just building the program and providing access to it for those that say no to our concierge service, because now it's like, yeah, we could do that, and that might pick up some dribs and drabs of business. But now we should create an entire marketing campaign around this. And now our resources are going into there, and the time spent is going into there. And not that that's bad, but I do really think that it's hard to determine what type of resources are going to be put into this kind of stuff when you get out of the gate. And I keep thinking, well, maybe this is why ClickFunnels doesn't do like email the way that ActiveCampaign does it, because there is a huge amount of resources, I'm sure, that goes into maintaining software as a service when it comes to, and you're constantly have to evolve, and you have to iterate, and you have to create better programming. And as technology increases and improves, you got to be able to keep up with the times with that. And at some point, you just say, dude, I told you I shouldn't do this to begin with, because we're funnel people. We're not email people, but you wanted this, and now you want me to maintain it. And then they say, well, shit, we're just going to not keep up with the time, not keep up with technology. Then their reputation gets tarnished as a result of it. And then the entire company starts to get tarnished because they haven't kept up with technology, only because in the beginning, somebody said, I want it. They created it. These new people come in. Now they have it. Now they have access to it. And now it's not as good as they thought it could be, because other companies are spending all of their time on it rather than just some of their time on it. Really interesting scenario there.
That is definitely the challenge. And I think the balance of, trying to decide what is it you want to put your resources into. And I don't think there's a right answer. In what's his name's book? Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, right? One of the companies that he did the Good to Great on was GE, right? And one of the tenets of Good to Great, one of the conclusions that he came to was figure out what you're best at and do that and focus on that, right? But GE kind of threw a wrench into that, because GE was incredibly successful, but they did so much shit at the time. This was like 80s or 90s, right? Like lots and lots and lots of different things. So it's like, okay, now wait a minute. If we really want to have this hypothesis that to be a great company, you got to focus on just what you do best, what does GE do best? And he determined, at least this was his analysis, was that what GE did best was management. And the reason that they could be in all these different places and all these different things and do them all well is because their zone of genius was coming up with a management structure that anything that they decided to do, it would make it good and efficient. And that's why they succeeded, because that was their zone of influence, their sphere of influence.
You remember, I can't remember the name of the company. I was going to say it was BASF, but I don't think it was BASF, because wasn't that the audio, weren't they the audio, like the cassette people, BASF?
Well, it's interesting. BASF, I remember a couple of years ago, they had ads out that were like, because I only knew them from like audio tape and maybe videotape, right? But like they had this ad like maybe 8 or 10 years ago that was like, BASF, we do so much more than just this, right? And they're into all this other shit. So
well, where I was going was, it was like one, and I can't remember if it was BASF, but it was a company. Their slogan was, we don't make the windshield wipers on your car. We just make the windshield wipers on your car better. BASF. Or that's what it. Yeah, it was BASF. Like that, right? I just looked it up at BASF. We don't make a lot of products you buy. We make a lot of products you buy better. So I'm wondering if it's because of I don't know if it's because they did like GE did a much better job at managing the entire, like IBM doesn't do. I don't even think they do computers anymore, but they do a whole bunch of shit better than they did computers.
You know what's interesting? I would love to see like a Jim Collins analysis of IBM, because the reason that they have stayed successful is because they have morphed, right? IBM stands for International Business Machines. And when they first started, they made fucking cash registers. Right. And then they made like adding machines, and then they got into computers, right? But then they realized when the PC market got so inundated and anybody could make a PC, They realized that they couldn't make money with hardware, so they started to make software, right? And now IBM is basically like business consulting, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's mostly what they focus on.
I think in BASF's particular circumstance, I think I'm looking at it. They do not make products or provide services to consumers. Instead, they help companies to get the message out to consumers about what products and services they offer. So they help other companies to creatively market, promote the products and services that they have. It's I don't even remember why we went down this path.
I don't either. I guess it was all about your zone of influence and your sphere of like what you're great in. Yeah.
Yeah. Your zone of genius. Right. What are you really good at? And should you try to be, as you're thinking about what you do with your company, it's like, oh yeah, somebody wants me to go, this is like the entrepreneur's squirrel shiny object syndrome nightmare, because what happens is, as an entrepreneur, especially those that are listening to this that are solopreneurs, and they do a really good job, but they do a good job at one thing specifically, or maybe a couple things specifically, but then they get that phone call from that client that said, hey, you did a really good job for us on this thing. Can you do this other thing for me too? And then they're off and running in that completely opposite direction, and they focus their attention on something else, and it takes their eye off of the ball of the thing that they're really good at. So the challenge is I guess that was my overall, or my underlying point with this ClickFunnels thing, is that when ClickFunnels starts to focus on those things that they don't do or that are not within their zone of genius, when anyone starts to focus on that stuff that is not within their zone of genius, do they then start to suffer as a result of that, which has this negative impact on their entire organization? Because that snowball, it never stops. Because as soon as you start doing email, then somebody says, well, you do email too. Well, do you do graphics also? Because I need to insert a graphic inside my email as well. And so instead of using Canva and ActiveCampaign, now we need to create a software program that does graphic design too. And it's like, oh shit, now I got to understand how fonts work. And now now I have to create a font company because the 8,700 fonts I have are 3 too short of what I actually need to make a good font. So it's like, wow, there are so many ways that you can go. So does any of that stuff at all relate to your story with Discount Tire?
Yeah, it kind of sort of does a little, but like we're 50 minutes in, maybe we should just leave that till next week.
That's fine. We can leave. You can do your Discount Tire story. I didn't want to dethrone you from your, me and all of my feminine talk earlier in this. I didn't want to.
It's okay. Too late. It's too late. It's all good.
It's too late. All right. So when we come back next week, Strickland promises not only will we talk about the 12 lies every entrepreneur says, but I don't even remember what that was anymore.
The 12 things every entrepreneur should know, or they're lying to themselves. Shit like that,
or something like that. I think we actually still put that in there. We need to talk about the show notes, Strick. We got a bunch of changes we need to make.
What?
But we don't have to do those right now.
Show notes for our show?
There's stuff that we promote even in our show notes that are really not things that not that we don't do them anymore, but there are other things that I would rather promote. Like we don't have anything in our show notes about our launch your podcast. Oh crap! What is the name of our ultimate podcast launch formula? We have nothing in there about that. We should at least have something in there about that.
Okay.
But we do promote my business building boot camp, which is great. I appreciate the promo, but I think we should either add that or take that one off and put this one on.
Because just food for thought. Kind of dead. Yeah, I agree. That's a good plan.
Well, it's not dead, Strick. I mean, it is my business. I mean, I appreciate you not calling my business dead.
When was the last time you sold one of those?
I don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about it.
We won't. Okay, so it's been a while. That's basically what you're saying. It's been a while.
I do measure it in spins around the sun as opposed to days. Anyway, let's head out of here. We're 51 minutes in. We've done our voicemails. We'll come back next week. Strickland will talk about Discount Tire, and let's do it. Are we good?
I think we're all good.
Okay, Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Do you think they could have rambled on any longer today? Blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah.